Hello guys, this is Vinny from H4X and today is Tuesday. And what a week, what a month, what a year it's been. It's been absolutely crazy. So we are in day 59 of this war slash conflict, whatever you want to call it, with USA and Israel on one side and Iran on the other side. And the biggest casualty in war is always the truth. That's the first big casualty. Yes, people die. There's a lot of damage that is done to the property. There are a lot of lives that are lost. But the first thing that is lost is the truth. It's anybody's guess as to what's going on, what anybody's thinking, what Trump is thinking, what the Iranians are thinking. But all we know is not everything is what meets the eye. It is very different on the ground. Things are very tense, and we are on a precipice of a disaster. It's a disaster in the making right now, where the the Strait of Hormuz that everybody knows. I'm not going to bore you guys with all the facts. Okay, the strait is closed. We know that. We know that the strait is closed. We know that we're 59th day into the war. We know what the demands are. I'm not going to bore you guys. I want to bring to table a perspective. I want to bring to table as to what I think is happening under the surface, which nobody is actually talking about. I want to talk about what it's going to mean for the supply chain when it comes to food, especially, and when it comes to food supply chain in the third world countries like Asia, like Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, where they don't have the capacity or capability or capabilities is the right word, I think, to store food for their entire population for say 2 months or 3 months, like bigger economies like India, China, US, UK, or most of Europe does. They don't. And that supply chain has broken, has absolutely broken into abyss. So famine is one big thing that I'm thinking is going to happen next. And it's happening. I think it's happening under the surface right now. And it's going to take a long time, months, if not years. And I think the death that is going to cause is going to be unmatched, unlike anything we have ever seen in our recent past or recent history of, say, 80 to 100 years. And nobody is talking about that. Nobody is getting prepared for that. Everybody is focused on one thing. Oh, okay, how do we get our oil? Yes, it's important. Okay, so that's one thing. The countries that do not have their supply chain intact and they don't have the storage or the backup of grains and the staples to feed their population, what are they going to do? How are they going to survive? And I think it's going to be death like anything we have ever seen before. And it's going to be for those poor third world country citizens that nobody seems to give a shit about. And it's going to be a human tragedy like never seen before. So that's my number one concern that nobody is talking about. Nobody on the news is talking about it. Nobody in the mainstream media or even social media for that matter is talking about right now. Well, that's one first thing I wanted to talk about that nobody's talking about it, and that's where I think the first level of casualties are going to be is the third world countries, especially these poor Asian countries like Bangladesh, Myanmar, and then sub-Saharan Africa, Northern Africa, like pretty much all of Africa other than the Southern Africa, African countries, because they are pretty self-sufficient themselves. So countries, especially the countries that are actually dependent on aid, they are going to suffer the absolute most because now Trump has come out and said that hey, he doesn't want to give aid to any African countries, starting with Ethiopia. I'm sure you guys know Ethiopia is one of the countries, poorest countries, and if they don't get aid, people are going to die, and people are going to die in thousands. People are going to die in hundreds of thousands. So that's number one. Number two, that kind of keeps me very concerned, almost to the point where I am waking up at night and thinking about is what is going to happen in say 30, forget 33. Right now we are in middle of planting season, and 80% of all the fertilizers, it comes from that one Strait of Hormuz. And what nobody is talking about is how are we going to replace all the lost capacity in those in fertilizers and in urea for the plantation season. Because the plantation season, and countries like India, countries like China, they are dependent big time on even America, even the United States, Canada, Ukraine. Ukraine is one of the biggest breadbasket of the globe. What are they going to do? What is India going to do? So they are planting because they have to plant. If they don't, they're going to lose the crop. They won't be able to grow any crop. So if they don't plant, what is going to happen? Or if they plant and the harvest is say 70% of what it used to be because of no fertilizer or lack of proper fertilizers and urea, what happens then? What happens if there is a 70% harvest? So who's going to fulfill that 30%? Are there enough storage backups for the 30%? I don't think so. I don't think that's the case. So what is that going to do? When the supply is constrained and the demand is same or higher because population is actually growing, not shrinking. And if that is the case, the prices they go up. And who gets affected the most is the poor. They get affected the most. And nobody is talking about what's going to happen in 6 months from now. Nobody's talking about that. And I think that supply shock is going to be exactly that, a supply shock, and it's going to take everybody by huge surprise. And I think people, especially the poor, they need to do whatever it takes, create some backup, have a plan. How are they going to feed their family? Uh, Try and ration. Try and make sure you have backup storage. Make sure you have enough grains, you have enough rice, you have enough staples, because that's going to be very extremely important as to how you are going to survive through the next winter. Because I think the real crisis is not now. I think the real crisis is when there is going to be shortage of the food grains, when there is shortage of protein, when there is shortage of chicken, shortage of poultry, the shortage of red meat, when there is shortage of protein. That's, I think, when the real crisis is going to hit this globe. And I think we're not there yet. I think we are 6 months, 4 to 6 months away from that to happen. Because I don't think anybody's thinking about that. Everybody's thinking that, hey, governments are going to take care of things. It's going to be, back to normal. Back to normal is not going to happen. Back to normal is absolutely done. Back to normal is thing of the past. Things are not going to be normal anymore. Things are going to be, if anything, going to be chaotic. Things are going to be difficult, especially for the poor. Things are going to be difficult for everybody. It's just that whoever is prepared is going to suffer the least. Right now, it's not about who's going to thrive out of this. Nobody's going to thrive. Okay, guys? It's whoever suffers the least is the winner at the end of this cycle. And I think this cycle is not going to last. It's going to last at least a couple of years, at least. And now is the time to prepare. Now is the time to prepare, guys. It's one of those moments where you need to put your profit targets aside. You need to put everything aside. You need to make sure you have enough backup food wise. It would last you at least 4 to 6 months. And I'm not trying to here create fear or monger fear, but I'm just being a realist that at least have 6 months, if not more, worth of food supply, have 6 months worth of um, energy supplies. Because where I live, for example, we use LNG for cooking. So, but these are cylinders because, as you can see, I live in a very hilly area and in a remote area, and here there are no pipelines to bring energy to my house. So I use gas cylinders for cooking purposes, and 100% of my electric needs are fulfilled by solar energy. So I saw this thing coming years before. I saw uh, not a conflict, I saw a crisis coming because a crisis always comes, it's a cycle every 80 years. And we were overdue for one right now. And I saw this coming and I made sure that I was prepared, at least from the energy side. Right now, I am making sure I have enough backup to feed my family, feed my son and my dog for the next 6 to 8 months at the least, at the absolute least. So I urge you guys to do the same because it is going to get ugly and it's going to get ugly fast. I think we are about 3 to 6 months, as I said before the harvest happens towards the fall, is when the shit's going to hit the fan. And that's when we're going to realize there is a worldwide famine, there's a worldwide shortage of food and protein, especially. And that's when panic's going to hit the market. Everybody's going to be running for food at the same time. And if you're not ready, if you're not already prepared and bought food for yourself, it's going to be too late, guys. It's going to be absolutely too late at that point. And uh, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the moment when, not crisis wise, when gold was hovering around 1500. And I was like shouting from the rooftop. Every day I used to come on to our channel and I used to say that, guys, this is the time to get into gold and silver because we are going to go higher, much higher right now, right here, right now, because it was baked in the cake and I saw that coming. I put everything, every single penny that I had in, or liquid assets that I had, into gold and silver related stocks. And I did very well. And not that, uh, yes, I did well, but also a lot of people around me got crushed that were in certain stocks that got actually butchered. Anyways, so this is a similar moment where I'm going on the rooftop and I'm saying, guys, what wrong can you do by having a food supply of 4 to 6 months or even 2 months? Nothing. You can always eat it. It's not going to go bad because if you have like 2 big bags of rice, it's not going to go anywhere. Rice doesn't go bad, or lentils. It does. They don't go bad. So do yourself and your family a favor and prepare yourself for what's going to come, and it's going to be really ugly for the next couple of years. And that's where I see things going right now. Yes, we all want to make money. There are going to be opportunities, and I'm going to be talking about those as well. But right now, I think the biggest thing is to keep your family together. Make sure you have enough supply. Make sure you have enough cash. Make sure you're getting out of debt Right now, in my opinion, is the absolute worst time to be in debt. Is the absolute worst time to be in debt right now, and that's where you should. You never want to be in debt. Period. But of all times, now is the absolute worst time to be in debt. So that said, I think what else I want to talk about. Uh, I'll come out with another one later. But I think it's really my heart goes out to all the people who are going to be suffering in countries like Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Myanmar, and sub-Saharan countries like Congo, um, Kenya, all those kind of countries. They are going to suffer, and they're going to suffer bad. And my heart goes out for those guys. My heart goes out, and if they need to do something now. They need to do something now. I wish my message could reach them, and because nobody is talking about this, guys. Nobody. So next, I want to talk about on my next video that I'm going to talk about is US dollar and why I keep telling you guys that it's not going anywhere. Everybody's saying US dollar is done. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think US dollar is here to stay. If anything, it's going to be playing a bigger role in the world monetary system, which is going to be a brand new system. And I think US dollar is going to be the pillar of the new monetary system. Maybe not in its current form, but it is going to be the pillar of the current monetary system. And that's what I'll talk about in my next video. So make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you guys get notified when I come out with that video because it's going to be a very important one. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon.